Okay. What? Nope.
His is coming up later. All right, now try again.
Hello? 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 Testing? Anybody hear me?
Someone said working.
Yay!
Yes? That's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And they can they see my presentation? That's the next step. I guess so, since we're going through there. I think we're good.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, yeah, and as Sharon said, I don't know if I'd say that I came by this honestly or not, because I don't feel like it was very honest as far as my knowledge on stream. But because we had a need within the Stowers Institute to be able to record our trainings and to get the trainings out to desktop users who can't make it, I kind of dove right into using Stream because it was part of Office 365. It was there, and our operations side of IT said, sure, why not? So I'll get more into the history in just a little bit, but I do want to say thank you for inviting me to speak for you all. This is a new group for me. This is not my typical user group. I work in a very different side of the tech world. So I am a development manager at the Stowers Institute. I primarily work with developers, and I develop in PHP and JavaScript. So that's my day job. That's what I do. So it feels a little out of sorts here, but you know, we use Microsoft at Stowers, but don't hurt me because I'm a developer. So you can ask me like just some personal stuff. You can ask me about Mystery Science Theater. I love Mystery Science Theater. I do some sous vide cooking. Anyone done sous vide before? No? Yes? Very good. So sous vide is the type of cooking where you vacuum seal, usually it's meat for the most part, vacuum seal your meat and you put it into like a really tightly controlled water bath. And you do like chicken for like 2 hours at 143 degrees and it comes out and it is like butter. It's good stuff. You can also talk to me about coding to save babies' butts. So is anyone familiar with Happy Bottoms here in Kansas City? A couple nods. So Happy Bottoms is the local Kansas City diaper bank. I am the developer who works with them, and we're working with inventory tracking and ordering for getting diapers out to needy kids in the Kansas City area. So that's one of my big side projects is that. I also really like marshmallow cannons. This is something that I did a little bit last year, and I want to do more of. I've got some ideas. This is my marshmallow cannon. That big chamber holds a bunch of air, and then there's a smaller chamber where I can charge up and just rapid fire little tiny marshmallows out of that top PVC, small little PVC tube. It's good times. I want to get some solenoids so I can do it by just pressing a button. Because right now it's all like hand turning valves. But it's fun. I like that too. Okay, so the dilemma. At Stowers, we were bringing in Sharon to come in and do the training for us and to maximize the value that we were getting out of Sharon. And because our training room would not fit the entire institute, we have two training rooms. We have one that was fairly sizable. It's just more of a lecture style. And then we have a smaller one which has computers at all the chairs, and we can do more interactive. So we said, okay, we've got scientists, we've got people in labs, and a lot of times they can't pull themselves away from the science, usually because it just demands their attention. But we want them to have this information. So we can't just have 50 different, trainings that would, probably wear Sharon out. So why don't we try to record this? And the other concern was, okay, we can record it, that's fine, we can set up a camera and record it. But what if we want to have interactivity? What if we want to have people who can comment and ask questions without being there? Because if you just have a recording, that's good, but having some interactivity would be even better. So we started thinking, okay, how can we try and live stream these training sessions? There isn't a whole lot out there for the business realm. There's a lot out there for the gaming realm and for the IRL, the in real life streamers. So if you're familiar with Twitch, and there's a newer one, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a competitor to Twitch. There's also YouTube, which live streams. There's Facebook that live streams, but that's all public facing, and that's not where we want to go with this. We just want this to be internal. So there wasn't a good solution for doing live streaming for within the business until Microsoft Stream. So this is a relatively new offering from Microsoft. This is part of the Office 365 Core package, if my research is correct, and it allows for a number of things. But one of those things is live streaming. You can also do things like upload videos, and it is the actual back end to Microsoft Teams live events. So this all gets put into live stream, and you can organize and share out videos that way as well. So you can think of it as a corporate YouTube type solution that has, just like YouTube, live streaming involved. So a little history. Back in 2014, Microsoft released something called Office 365 Video, and that was their initial video offering, like a YouTube. That one was you upload your video and you can set who can see it. You can create channels, so you can group your videos together, and it had your Active Directory permissions integrated so that you can assign it out to a group or to just one person or to the entire company. But as of at least June 6th, the knowledge article was dated. Microsoft Office 365 Video is going away, and it's going to be replaced with Stream. So you can think of Stream as the next generation of Microsoft O365 Video. So what is Microsoft Stream? From a technical standpoint, Microsoft Stream is an RTMP server and a video hosting solution. RTMP is the technical name for the protocol that you use to actually stream video and audio from one device to a server. That server can then broadcast it out to the world. It can save it to disk. It can do a bunch of different stuff. But the communication between what's actually doing the recording and the actual Microsoft server is RTMP. So that's what's happening there. So you can record your RTMP streams. It is also a transcoder, which means it can take whatever video that it's got in its storage and change the format to work with whatever device you're working in. So if you're going to show the video on your phone may need a different format video or a different size video for bandwidth limitations, those types of things. And the transcoder can basically shuffle the video into different formats. So that's happening on Microsoft Stream as well. And also it allows for a UI, for a web UI for viewing, so people can view it, but also for administrators to manage the content and organize it and set permissions and add comments and those types of things. So the features that are available, so Office 365 groups, so you can, you'll get a video library for every one of those groups that individuals from those groups can then upload videos to, so that's one organization level. So you can set the permissions at the video level or at the channel level too, I believe. You can set up sub-channels, so within those group channels you can then set up, okay, this is IT training, you know, like external IT training, this is internal IT training, this is, you know, whatever. So you can organize your videos that way as well. And videos can show up in multiple channels too. So if they overlap with a lot of different channels, you can do that. Users can set up a personal watch list. So this is something that's really nice if they find a video like, okay, I want to add this to my watch list, and then they'll queue it up and they can go through all the videos. We actually use Stream and integrate it in with ServiceNow. So we're a ServiceNow shop for a lot of our request type things at Stowers. But we also are using a learning management system within ServiceNow. And that learning management system can point to a stream video. And then the user can say, yes, I watched this, and that can progress them through some sort of training scenario. There's comments, there's likes, so people can comment on videos just like in YouTube. Then there's descriptions, add a video description and links, and you can link directly to a time. So you can jump to, you have like a table of contents at the beginning in your description and jump to a particular time. This one's really pretty cool. Closed caption is out of the box, and it will close caption. I don't know what the delay is, but there's a certain delay after it's recorded. Then it goes through an actual speech to text engine, and then we'll add closed captioning. And the closed captioning will actually show up on the side and scroll as the video plays at different time codes. It also has face detection. This is really cool as well. I'll show you a screenshot in just a second of a good video that has all the different face detection going on. Most of our training that we were doing was mainly screen, and then we would do some scene changes to show whoever was talking. So we didn't use the face detection a lot, but I'm excited to do that in an upcoming, we're doing like an all-institute meeting. It's kind of like a state of the institute. And there are a lot of different speakers. So when we upload that video to stream, we'll be able to do the face detection on there. It'll be really, really nice. You can do live events like I mentioned. And then, again, Microsoft Teams records to stream. I don't know that they actually necessarily, I guess they do surface on stream now, is that correct? Like when they show up as, if you want to make your team meeting a stream, that you can. And then there's a mobile app for iOS and Android with offline playback. So you can download when you have a good Wi-Fi signal, and then you can watch it later. I did want to mention that the closed captioning is searchable as well. So if you want to jump to a particular topic, you can do that. The face detection looks like this, and you can see we've got closed captioning here, and then the face detection here. So this is the timeline, and as it moves, you'll see which faces show up. So if you know, hey, I know she spoke at one point, I wanted to hear what she said, you can just jump to this part right here. That indicates that her face was showing on the screen at this point. Or again, you can search the transcripts right up there. I will say that the closed captioning is actually pretty good. There are a few things that may not get caught, but overall, it's a very good. If you're getting good audio recording, you're going to end up with good closed captioning. And if the speaker is not talking as fast as I am, you'll probably get even better closed captioning. Okay, so there are 3 ways that you can get video into stream. The first one is to upload an existing video. This is pretty vanilla. You've got a video, whatever format, and I can't remember. There is actually at the bottom of this screen, there's like a little footer message that says, here's the types of formats that it'll accept, and I forgot to get a screenshot of that. But you can then upload your video here, and it will ask you, okay, what channel do you want this to be a part of? Who should be able to see this video? All that stuff. You can do it in a Teams meeting. So here's my Teams app and me setting up a new live event. You just have to make sure that you switch this here to, I think it just said meeting, and then you change this to a live event. Some things will change down here, and you'll get some extra prompts as you go through the meeting creation. And this is what it looks like when you're actually in a meeting, in a live event within Teams. So this is not your typical Teams meeting. So what you'll have is you'll have a whole bunch of inputs down here, and you can share your desktop, and then you can say, you can drag this up or double click it, and this will be your queue. So this is what you have planned to show, and then you actually send live to actually push it to what's going out. So this is kind of like your staging area, and this is what's actually going out right now. When you do the live Teams event, it's less like your collaborative group where you've got a bunch of people and they can turn their mics on and off. The live event is definitely more of a broadcast out, and then there's chat coming in, but not switching over to some other person, like what we can do right now with what we're doing this team event right now. So you have to consider how you want people to interact. If you want people to interact only just with Q&A, then you probably want to do a live event. And then if you want this to be like a group meeting, then you want to do the regular Teams meeting. Does that make sense? Okay. And then lastly, you can do a Microsoft Stream live event. So this live event is very different than the other ones, primarily because it requires a lot of additional setup. This is something, if you want to go to that next level of wanting to do things like scene changes, and you want to lay out your camera over the screenshot, and you want to do transitions, and you want to do fancy stuff, you have to do a live Microsoft Stream live event. And you can also do this from within Teams. When you're doing a live event within Teams, there's an option to say do a regular Teams meeting, or you can use an external app or hardware, I think is the option. So, I primarily did this one because we wanted to do that overlay. We wanted to put the presenter down in the corner, screenshot in the background, and be able to transition. And I do want to show you a little bit of what that looks like. So this is going to be like kind of a worst case scenario if you want to go that route, just so you see what it takes to set it up. Some considerations for doing really any for doing a live event with an external encoder. You can share the link to the stream website via Teams, via Yammer, or an embedded link, and I think you can really do that for just a regular Teams meeting. No, maybe not. If you set it up through Teams and you do the live event, then you'll still get the same URL you can embed anywhere. You'll need some sort of software or hardware controller or encoder. I meant to say encoder there. Things like OBS, which is what a lot of Twitch streamers will use. Wirecast is another software encoder. So these are all software. What I'm using on this computer when I show you will be OBS, but we've been testing out Wirecast, which is a more supported commercial product. There's things like B8, which is, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that does it, but that's a hardware device. That's an actual rack-mounted unit with 3 or 4 inputs, HDMI inputs, or some of the other style video inputs you can do. And that's where you would need, you put that in a rack. So if that's that's like more of a permanent situation, where you would have a monitor, keyboard, mouse, and hook up to that, and then you would set up your transitions through that device. But really, anything that outputs an RTMP server that you can stream to a URL should work. So you want to consider, okay, do I need this to be portable? If I don't, then I would definitely suggest going with a hardware solution. And if it is something that does need to be portable, then you might want to consider using just a dedicated laptop with Wirecast or OBS or some other software solution. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. All streams have currently a 4-hour limit. I don't know if they've changed that or not, but we learned the hard way that there's a 4-hour limit. Sharon was doing a 4-hour long training, luckily it was 4 hours and she was pretty much done, and all of a sudden the stream just stopped, and I had no idea why. And then, but I realized that it stopped at 4 minutes and 4 hours and 1 second. I'm like, well, that's an indication that something has a time limit. So keep in mind that 4-hour limit for these live event streams. I'm not sure if, I don't know if the regular Teams meetings have a limit or not. But anyway, keep that in mind. And once you've started a live stream event, you do not want to stop your encoder. Do not stop OBS or Wirecast or V8, whatever's doing it, because your stream's done at that point. Once you stop your encoder from sending out to Microsoft Stream Server, it's done. So make sure you've got everything set up the right way at the beginning. Otherwise it's not going to work out so well. I feel like I had another bullet point, but it fell off the page. So if I think about it, I will bring it back up. So let me before we say thank you, let me show you a little bit of what the setup that we use at Stowers is. It's not ideal. We're hoping to optimize this more because it's a rat's nest of wires coming all over the place, trying to get a camera, trying to get lapel mic, capturing the presenter's computer, trying to get a room mic, like we're trying to do a whole bunch of things and there's wires going all over the place. So trying to come up with a better solution is definitely on our list. It does do the job though. And I would make sure that you are using, if you are using OBS, use a Windows computer. OBS does not work well on Mac, processor-wise. So use a Windows machine if you are. So let me jump into OBS real quick. So what I have set up currently is I have this device is an HDMI capture device. So you plug in the presenter's computer into here, you take the presenter, and then you take the connection and wire it to wherever you normally go with your HDMI. So this sits in here and captures all the HDMI signal coming off of the presenter's laptop. Because the presenter is not going to be the one broadcasting the stream. And that's typically what you might have to go and say, okay, put on, TeamViewer or Skype or whatever, put this on here and then we'll capture it on the other end. There's a lot of points of failure for trying to capture it over some sort of collaboration screen sharing software. So what we did was we just got this device, which is a USB, into this is going to be the computer capturing, doing the OBS work, and sending it out to Microsoft. So we put this in between the presenter's computer and into the regular screen up front. That is really nice for presenters because all they need to do is just show up with their laptop. You just plug them in and they don't have to install anything, which is really nice. I've got a webcam which we normally put onto a tripod to put in front of the presenter. I normally also have a USB lapel mic, which is in my bag, but I won't pull it out. And they do really well to get up close to the speaker. And then I also have some USB conference mics that I put on the tables to try and capture the room audio. It's a lot. And some people will want to do different camera angles. So you're going to have a whole bunch of inputs and you need to set up scenes to support those inputs. So this is OBS, and right now I've got no signal because my computer decided to go to sleep. So what you're seeing up there right now is actually this computer going through HDMI, getting captured, and then going into our production computer, if you will. Then I've got my camera here. So I've got a scene that is just the camera. So you can get full screen of the individual. I've got a scene that is just the screen. And then I've got one that is a hybrid of both. So you can see that, yeah, I know. You can see the computer and the presenter at the same time. Now this is fully flexible, so you can move things around. And a lot of things like Wirecast and a lot of the hardware vendors will allow you to do these things. You can set up just the way you want. One thing I really like, and I don't see a lot with some of the hardware vendors, is having just like go to scenes where, like we have one here where we just put this up before we even start, and just make sure that we're running. So we're not showing what's going on, but, and then this also has a, I don't think it's, I don't think I'm,
So, preview.
yeah, there is. So there's a studio mode. So you've got your preview over here, and then you've got what's live. OBS has, you can just I was just making it simple, but there is a preview mode, and you can say what kind of transition you want, that kind of stuff. I do know Wirecast does a similar thing as well. So I like having this one, you know, or the session, thanks for watching, or a we'll be back in 10 minutes, or we'll be back at this time. Because again, when you're streaming, you don't want to stop the stream until you're done. And if you take a break, you may not just want to show the screen just sitting there. You may want to have something there so people know that it's still, that the meeting's still going to go on. And then my favorite one here, where this, we've used this one a couple times. So having all of these scenes defined here, and different audio mixes happening at the same time. So in this scene, we're not doing anything with microphones. Microphones are muted, right? But in this one, the microphones are working, and it does capture the computer audio too, if you want it to. So that's all adjustable down here. So this isn't a training on OBS, but this is just this just shows you what you can do if you're doing a live event with an external encoder. You can do all this fancy stuff, okay? But from within Teams, doing a live event that doesn't use the external encoder, you're using Teams, is pretty much straightforward. You're just going to choose what you're showing, one screen. I'm going to show my camera. I'm going to show my computer, and that's pretty much it. So I'm hopeful that maybe at one point, you know, Teams will allow for a little bit more flexibility, maybe some predefined locations that you can where you can put things, but for the moment, that's what you get. So that might suffice completely for what your needs are. And I would say go for that because it's way easier to set up. But if you do want to go that extra step and get different camera angles, different microphones all around, then you'll want to do something that has an external setup. Oh, I remember what that last tip was. When you are doing a live stream and you're going to send out the URL to that live stream, you're going to put it in the event, or you're going to send it out to all the attendees. I would make sure that you use like a tiny URL or some sort of URL shortener that you can change later, because there were 2 times where we had scheduled a meeting in Teams, and we went to go and say, okay, let's start this event, and it's like, oh, sorry, this is broken somehow, and you're not going to be able to reclaim this. Go set up a brand new meeting. But now how do we get the other people to know to go to this other URL? So using a tiny URL allowed us to tell people, just re-click that URL, it's working now, because we just swapped in the correct URL to the stream once we added that new meeting. So so that's how we are recording. I'll bring up what the interface looks like here. So this will be the Stowers one. So I don't think we got anything proprietary up here, so I wouldn't worry too much about that once this decides to catch up. So this is the homepage, and you're gonna see a few things show up in that little slider. It's gonna be just recent things, what's trending. I don't know the magic behind it, but that's what you're gonna see up there. And then if you scroll down, let me close this. This is just tutorials. We've got popular channels. We've got recent videos here, and you can go and look at the Discover area, and you can look at just your groups, and these are just our Office 365 groups, and we can go into like information technology and see all of the latest videos. We can look at all the videos for information technology. We can look at whatever channels are available. So that's there, and then you can see who's a member. Just typical, membership. I guess it's just the owners of the. Oh, you can change. Here you go. So in a channel, again, this is going to be within an Office 365 group that you can go in and say, okay, these are our ServiceNow, or at least the channel where we're going to be storing our ServiceNow learning management videos. So we can also look at people, so you can find a particular person. So if we found me, in theory, we should find the videos that I've uploaded. And then you can just go for channels outside of, like, if you bring up the channels, then you're going to see all the channels outside the context of a group. So it's just, here's all the channels. Right, so that's just discovering. And if you do find a video, let's say we want to look at, where was that? This one here. Maybe we want to look at this one. And I realized, so here, if this works right, we probably should be able to see people's faces. Yeah, so there you go. So we've got 2 people in this whole video, and there's the face detection. And over here on the side is the actual transcript. You can choose whether or not you want the transcript or the face recognition. That's optional when you're setting up your meeting, but you have to do it when you're doing your meeting. I don't know if you can. You might be able to turn it off after the fact, but I do know it's an option when you're setting it up. So you can do your transcript searching here, and you can also post comments. So this is where you would go to view. But again, you can embed this, and I believe the embed is, where's the embed? Is it? Thank you. Share. So here's a share, and you can say you just want to share a link directly to this video, or here's your embed code to put it into some other web page that you might have. So we use the embed code for ServiceNow. But I do believe that if you just grab this link here and put it into Yammer, it will put in the actual embed for you. So, well, yeah, there's the Yammer link right there. And you can, it looks like you can start from a particular point if you want to. So here's your like, you can add to your watch list, and then you've got a link to the group or channel. Or you can add it to another group or channel. So this is just viewing settings, view settings. If you go into, let me go into a video where I am the owner. Let's go here. All right, so if I go into this video here, and this one was recorded with the OBS setup. See, there's our dancing bear. And if I go into the settings, let's see, where's the edit button? Okay, so here's update video details. So this is where you're going to go and actually set the name, the description, what video language it is, and I think that probably informs. It's probably metadata that people can use in case you do have multilingual. You can say, hey, this one's in Spanish, but I believe it also informs the closed captioning as well. And then you can choose your thumbnail. So maybe we like this thumbnail better, or we want to just add a custom one. You've got your permissions here. So right now we've got this box checked that says everyone in the company can view the video, but you can whittle this down if you only just want a certain individual or group or set of groups. You can do that as well. And then we have our options here, which is the people, which is the facial recognition, and then comments, turning those on and off. It looks like you can download the caption file too. I haven't messed with that, so there might be a reason that you want to maybe archive the transcript off somewhere else. You can get a file for that. Looks like you can upload your own subtitle as well. I don't know what the format is, but I assume if you download that file, you're going to see the format. So if you want to, maybe you want to have a translated version, you could do that. And then you've got a list of how many people are currently viewing it, how many views you have total, and then how many likes you have for each video. I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to. Are there any questions?
So, aside from downloading the file and uploading a new one, do you have a way to quickly just correct a word in the transcript or anything?
That's a good question. I would assume that's probably the only way you can. I don't know if there's an interface to actually go in and mess with the transcript directly from the interface. Let me go back to that other video.
Yeah, transcripts at the middle bottom there, next to details. You can edit it in line.
You can. Oh, thank you. Wait, let me go back to that video. Well, actually, I guess I should look at my own, because I wouldn't be able to edit that other video. So you're saying it was, if you edit?
Yeah, the second tab over there.
Transcripts.
Yeah.
It's
Still processing.
Well, this one, this is old though. Let me jump to one of this one should have one of it. No. Let's do. This one. So you're saying it's directly in here, you can make modifications?
Yeah, you hit edit in the top corner.
Okay.
And that allows you, when you click in each like text bubble, it will pause the video there and allow you to check it. There's a little check mark next to that bubble.
Thank you. I've not missed
When you
one.
hit the check mark and save it, it'll start playing to the next one. So you
Okay.
can just step through it.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened to all my closed captions here. Okay, well, so you don't have to update the video details. You just flip here, and then there's an edit option. Okay, we're gonna take your word for it. What other
Yeah, I
questions?
have to go around and fix like the word hammer all the time because it sees hammer and all kinds of other.
Nice, nice.
I had a question.
Yeah.
When we're going to pick between the quick start teams option and
Yeah.
the external encoder option, have you ever had a need to find like an elegant solution for having people present from multiple locations within like an external encoder? Because, for example, we have like teams here, teams in India,
Yeah.
Malvern, UK, and we may want to like throw the presentation over to the India team to
Right.
do a couple slides and then come back. And that kind of leads us to the teams route,
Yeah.
so that they can actually share their screen and really take over. I don't know if you've ever.
We
tried
have
to do
not.
it with
We haven't had that
OBS.
situation, and I. In that kind of situation, I would probably say, yeah, I would go with the regular Teams route, especially now that it's going directly to streams. Yeah, that seems like the most elegant way to do it. Otherwise, you'd have to get them on. You'd have to get them on probably some other, either another Teams meeting going on. And you have to capture that, you know.
Try to do like the computer audio.
Right, right. Which you can do depending on your encoder. But no, I would probably say unless you need it for some other reason, I would say go with the regular Teams meeting and then have a set of presenters, you know, who are allowed to just mute everybody else. What other questions? Yeah.
Can you turn off the Q&A?
Can. That's an option for when you set up a live event. And I think it's specifically in Teams. Let's set that up real quick. So, all right, if I go into, this is going to break mine. This might break mine. Hopefully it won't. Go into schedule a meeting. Put that in. We say schedule. At least one attendee is required.
Oh, change to live.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Gotcha. Okay. All right, so we can say, I'll just say that this is going to someone who's not going to mind me doing this. And then I'll say that, so right here, Q&A. Turn that on or off. But you do that when you start. You can hide the Q&A when the meeting's going on, but you can turn it on or off here. And if you do the external one, that also has Q&A, but you can turn off captions here if you don't want that to happen with that video. Do you have another question?
A couple.
Okay.
Try to face
Sorry.
myself.
Hopefully I can answer.
So one would be the reporting that's available. So
Right.
And can you go back and see historically your engagement and stuff across the whole channel?
So not really. You can see total views, but I believe there is definitely a user voice or whatever the voting thing is for being able to see which users have seen the video and how many times. So the analytics is minimal at this point, but I do think there's a pretty large voice out there for wanting to see which people, because that obviously that information is available to Microsoft, so everyone's logged in.
You
So.
get that if it's a Teams meeting. If it's a Teams version, you get an attendee report, it'll show
Right.
usually when they left, when they entered.
Yeah.
But through the external, the way that we've seen to do it is you integrate with a third-party partner, like Collective or Ring, or something like that, and then they have their own analytics. They usually just link to their website for their analytics instead.
So that's like you have to do some sort of embed code on the.
No,
video
it's,
or-
you're doing like caching or multicast technology.
Oh,
So
okay.
that it's basically doing a band in the middle between the stream.
Oh,
And
interesting.
instead of streaming directly from Azure,
Yeah.
you're streaming from Collective or
Oh,
from
But it's
the local cache that you have.
but users still go to the same website to
Yeah,
view it.
they still go there.
Okay.
As it loads,
Yeah.
it will interrupt that feed and load in the one from your own network, so that it takes off the bandwidth.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
then
That makes sense.
to get the analytics, a lot of times you have to, a lot of them have an agent that you have to run, and that's how you get the analytics, like quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? So you mentioned something about people doing trainings and such and being able to check them on.
Yeah.
We're interested primarily at this point in using Stream for kind of a content, like CBL.
Okay.
Kind of program for training, so making sure people go in and watch something that you wish never watched. So maybe like make sure people watch something before they go to the next.
Right. So right now we don't have, like, again, with the same thing with the analytics, that we don't have a way to like prove for certain that the logged in user watched the entire video. But what we do is we like, it's a bit of a trust thing. We end up just putting a button on that learning management side saying, yes, I've watched this video. That's how we're doing it. So, you know, for whatever that's worth. But it does at least progress them through the plan, the learning plan. But there's no way to say, yeah, they watched the entirety of this video. Absolutely sure. Of course, obviously, even with that, they could start the video and run off. There's no way to really like tether somebody to the computer while they're doing it. I'm sure there is probably. Yeah, but yeah, that's a tricky one, and one we want to, especially with getting the analytics. That's definitely something we want to be able to use.
Only way to do that, to make sure that they watch the whole thing, is pop up questions in the
I,
middle of the session, so
that's
it's
true.
really, but then you're republishing
Right.
all those questions.
Yeah, that did actually release last week, I believe, the interactive forms is built in now in the stream. So you
Is
can add forms, yeah. On one of your screens, it was in the upper corner where you were looking at the transcript.
Okay.
So, better software.
So, right here, this interactivity.
Yeah, that's brand new as of just a few days ago.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, you
I
build
haven't-
it in Microsoft Forms, then you paste the URL in, and it will stop the video at whatever timestamp you want. And then they take one quiz and then it moves on. They can just skip the quiz and continue the video. So I published one to test it.
Yeah.
And I had like 41 people watched it, but only 5 people completed the survey.
That's interesting.
So but you only do that after the fact, correct? Like you wouldn't be able to have that
Oh.
up in the.
No, you can't. I had 5 surveys in that one video.
Okay,
So it was like a recap of SharePoint conference.
Yeah.
So I stopped at the end of like the OneDrive section. It was like, what are you most excited about in OneDrive? And I stopped at like the stream section. What are you most excited about here?
okay.
It was 5 separate forms, which is kind of crappy because it clogged up my forms website, you know?
But that was during the live stream.
It wasn't during the live stream,
Okay.
it was after the fact. It was a video I
Okay.
uploaded.
It was another. But is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I was curious.
Oh,
if
you
you
can
do
stop
it.
like right here.
Yeah.
No, that would be really nice.
Yeah.
I think with that, we probably would use like a Yammer poll, something like that. We would post a Yammer poll to do like a live vote.
That's really cool. I like just saw that. It's been about a month or so since I've done one of these recordings, so I know that a lot has changed in the past week, for sure.
Constantly changing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it does kind of show you how much interest Microsoft has in this problem. So I mean, it's a good sign. It's just a moving target, right? For the end user. What else? Is anyone using Stream? It sounds like you guys are. Is anyone else using Stream? Yeah. Good. A little bit. Are you guys actually streaming live, or are you just uploading videos? Okay. And how are you doing this, the live streams?
So that we have a group that does that. So
Okay.
I don't really know for sure, but we're trying to integrate it with our intranet right now. So
Okay.
play around with, I think most of that is uploading after that.
Okay.
But, we're moving off of Skype.
Mhm.
Rather than Skype.
Okay.
So slowly but surely.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys are?
Yeah, so when you did discovery research for people, like you mentioned that it was for people who own the video.
Yeah.
Can you also do that with the facial recognition, like tie a face to a name and search for which people are married?
I saw something in the screenshot that said, but I don't know if this was marketing screenshot or what. Let's see what it discovered. Okay. There's Chrome.
What was the question?
If you can search for faces. So, like up here it says search transcripts, faces, keywords. So I don't know that I've ever seen it tie somebody.
Yeah, you can't change their name. What you can do is you can merge people together.
Yeah,
So if
that's
it's like a front and then like a side view, you can select both of them and say merge, and
Right.
it will take all those bubbles and put them on one line. But I haven't seen where you can say, this is our CDO.
Right.
If you search the CDO, it finds all the CDOs.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
I don't know how
But
you search for this.
yeah, I mean, the only other thing I think of is that they somehow use the user's profile picture and try and match it with somebody in AD. I don't know, but that would be pretty cool. Yeah, right. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I think the technology is probably there to do it. It's just a matter of implementing it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you all very much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for coming. Stream's kind of cool and different. So we're gonna be pricey, so if you guys pick up a ticket on your way in, pull it out. So we just got back from Vegas. Well, I just got back from Vegas. I actually work with Koebbe for the SharePoint Conference North America, which actually made me think about the fact that if you guys are interested in going to it tonight, it's in November. I highly recommend that you get hotels and tickets now, because you probably won't if you don't turn it in like within the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. The hotels nearby are already sold out. A lot of the tickets are already sold out. So last year they ran out of tickets. So if you guys are interested in going, you probably should do that. So just came back from the SharePoint Conference North America, where I got to have really fun conversations with some of the product managers. But I did work the Koebbe booth, so they gave us a couple of fun prizes that they had at their booth to give out to the user group. And I know you guys may not get this, but this is kind of like a really big deal in the Microsoft world, is these really cool logoed socks. But I've got a pair of Yammer socks, I have a pair of OneDrive socks, I have a pair of SharePoint socks, and because it's a Stream user group, I actually got to talk to the Stream product manager, and he was so excited. He dug out Stream socks for me. So, like, these were impossible to find. So I actually have 2 pairs of Stream socks since we have a Stream session. So get your tickets out, and we're gonna just basically work down the table. All right. We're just gonna pull these out. You guys can come up and get something. All right, so I've got 1476120. All right, come on up.
I sure feel so clear.
All right, next. You gotta get in line and pick something.
Really?
Yeah, just pick.
Pick one first.
I want you to pick one first. Hey, you get first pick. With who?
I think we should give the second stream. I'm just saying this to you since you're the.
He already has a pair.
Oh, never mind.
I already thought of that.
I've already gifted him the 3rd pair.
Oh, I see.
All right, 1476117. Come on up. Take your pick. Okay, I don't know. Do I believe you? All right, 1476123. Come on up.
That's what you do today.
Sometimes we have tons of people, sometimes we have a lot smaller. The nice thing is this is a big group. All right, 1476126. All right, got a couple things left up here. 1476118. Oh.
Ross, I assumed you were gonna take a bird.
Yeah. That's my opportunity.
All right,
only.
1476121. I got 2 crows and I got 2 Vegas bags. They're kind of cool. Oops. 1476122. I can grab 2 more, right? 1476119 and 1476125. And there's a few odds and ends on the back table of some extra stuff that I brought back from the conference, but they were like sized, so I figured that would if you guys are interested. There's a few stickers left, and there's some SharePoint. There's some SharePoint Spaces shirts, which is kind of cool. If you guys haven't seen SharePoint Spaces yet, it's VR and SharePoint, which is really nifty. I don't know if you've seen the Facebook virtual reality groups yet, but it's kind of the same thing. But SharePoint Spaces is essentially you can actually put on a VR headset and go into a SharePoint site. Brand new. It's been around for not very long and it's picking up momentum, but there's an entire team for this and it's really neat. So I've got some brand new SharePoint Spaces t-shirts if anybody wants those too, so it's kind of neat. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see you next month. Talk about some Office 365 stuff.
Thank you.